I'm Erin Harrison, coming to you from Santa Clara, California at Cloud Expo, and I'm joined now by Jay Hallberg, Vice President of Marketing and co-founder of SpiceWorks. Welcome.
Thank you, Erin.
Thanks
Happy
for
to be
being here, Jay.
Thank you.
So tell us about SpiceWorks and how you guys fit into the notion of cloud.
Sure. So what SpiceWorks is free software and community for IT professionals, primarily in small and medium businesses, which are typically companies with about 20 to 1,000 employees. It's a free software suite for them to manage their IT networks. And more importantly, because there's 1.2 million people around the world like them using it, a fellow IT pro is never more than a click away. So I may be an expert in one aspect of IT. I can ask questions of others and get answers to those questions while I'm using SpiceWorks. And how we fit into the cloud and why we're here at the Cloud Expo is historically everything those IT pros in a law firm or manufacturing firm or an accounting firm had to manage was, of course, on site. Well, of course, increasingly over the past few years, they're managing more and more cloud services. And so what we've done within SpiceWorks is actually enabled the management of those cloud services as well. And so we see that as an important trend and tying that into SpiceWorks.
Okay. There's been a lot of buzz on the show floor and also in the sessions about hybrid cloud solutions.
Sure.
So what are your thoughts there?
Sure. So, and one part that I should have also mentioned in the introduction on what is SpiceWorks is we're entirely free. And so that's part of why it's used by so many IT professionals. And what we also do is we support that via advertising from important technology vendors. So Microsoft, HP, Dell, Cisco, etc. And what a lot of those vendors have done is actually tied in the management of their services directly into the SpiceWorks interface.
Okay.
And so, again, the way we view the hybrid world is that's an inevitability. Every company will have a mix of on-premise services. They'll be using some cloud services, but one doesn't completely disappear. And so it's a mixed world, and that's part of our aim is with our free software to make it easier to manage that for the world's small and medium businesses.
Okay, great. Also, you guys recently announced SpiceWorks 5.0. So
That's right.
tell us about that. How's that going?
It's going fantastic. It was a huge release for us. It introduced a bunch of new features. One of the key ones was something we called People View, which lets you look at IT, both the devices and services you manage, not just through I'm looking at a server, but now it's the people who use them. So we've integrated with Active Directory, so it really puts a face on IT, if you will. Another feature we added was what we call purchase management, and it lets IT pros track all of the purchases for their network. And that's turned out to be a really big deal because they spend up to a third of their time looking at what they want to add to the network, not just managing what's already on it.
Okay. And before we wrap up, any particular trends or predictions in terms of cloud? Where do you see the future headed in terms of the potential and how things are going to evolve in 2011?
Sure. So I think a few things to consider there. One, I think there's incredible potential. When we look and run surveys of our user base, these 1.2 million IT pros around the world, only about 24% of them have really adopted cloud services. A significant percent plan to, but that's the important point. They're in the planning phase. And so I think a lot of the mainstream market is yet to come on board. So it's incumbent upon us as a tech industry to make it easy for them to do it and not overwhelm them with jargon or too many solutions.
Right.
So that's an important point too. The bulk of the opportunity, if it's measured on a per seat or per device basis, is in small and medium businesses. There's about 5 million IT pros who support nearly 200 million workers in small and medium businesses, whereas the big enterprises, while they're easy to find and have lots of money, they only represent about 30 million endpoints. And so if you're selling cloud services on something that scales with employees, it's nearly a 7x opportunity in the world's small and medium businesses as opposed to the enterprises. And I think that's exciting. Should be exciting for all of us. They're harder to find, but that's an important point. And the final bit is I think there's some people who go, ooh, the cloud takes away complexity and IT pros aren't needed. Every wave we've seen in technology, people say it's going to make things simpler. What it does in one facet, but it creates a new set of complexities that need to be managed. So the IT job never goes away, it simply changes a little bit. So I think those are the three big things we're looking at SpiceWorks.
Okay, so would you say that in the last 12 months, SpiceWorks has seen, more comfort, more comfort level, less apprehension in terms of adopting cloud?
We certainly have seen
fewer unknowns.
We have seen some. I think it's easy for us to get caught up in all the excitement, and there's still some practical problems that IT pros and small and medium businesses want to understand. They still want to take their time understanding security. They still want to understand, okay, how does that billing really scale? They're used to a world where they have a box on site so they can see it and they know how much it costs and they know how to appreciate it. So even some of how they account for it changes. And the best way to accomplish that isn't necessarily the tech industry yelling louder at them. It's a lot of connecting them with other people like them so they can hear it from their peers. And the more of those success stories they hear from the peers, I think the more likely it's to move faster. So it's no surprise it's going to be a fairly social discussion on how they move to that in conjunction with our marketing efforts as vendors.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Jay. I've been speaking with Jay Hallberg, Vice President of Marketing and co-founder of SpiceWorks. I'm Erin Harrison coming to you from Cloud Expo in Santa Clara, California. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you, Erin.